Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Is Mr. Lampe Omoyele. All right, our guest is here. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Hi, Azuh. Good evening.
So nice to have you join us at the nick of time. Now, before I take any question, I would like to go through your profile. You know, I was writing something, but I stumbled on something online which I quite like. So I'll just devote the next 1 or 2 minutes to reading it, you know, so that some of the people who are joining us can get to know you better and more. Yes, Mr. Lampe Omoyele is a widely respected business leader and mentor in the marketing and advertising industry of the sub-Saharan Africa. With 30 years experience working with leading multinational companies and indigenous companies with global aspirations. He is currently Managing Director of Nitro 121, one of West Africa's leading marketing, communication, and brand management companies, and founding partner, the Lucent Consulting Company, a business strategy and human capital development consultancy. He possesses a deep understanding of marketplace dynamics across industry sectors such as fast-moving consumer goods, retail and telecommunication in Africa, with strong commercial acumen and execution capability in commercial and general management roles, and proven leadership track record of delivering business results in challenging and internationally diverse markets. He has previously been Managing Director, Nelson West Africa, Africa Marketing Director, Family Nutrition, GSK Consumer Healthcare, Marketing Director at Nutrisima, a PZ Cushons company, Marketing Director, Ethel Nigeria, and Marketing Director, Cadbury East and Central Africa. Mr. Lampe Omoyele holds a BSc and MSc in biochemistry and is an alumnus of the Lagos Business School. He is a fellow, National Institute of Marketing in Nigeria, NIMN, trustee of the Advertisers Association of Nigeria, ADVAN, associate member, Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, and member of the ADVAN. He is a recipient of several awards, including Marketing Society of Kenya's Warrior Award for significant contribution to the development of marketing in Kenya in 2008. Chartered Marketer UK status in 2009, and NIMN's Achievers Award 2011. In 2018, he was listed among the 50 most influential marketing communication practitioners in Nigeria by Brand Campaign magazine, and 100 most influential global marketing leaders by the World Marketing Congress. Mr. Lampe Omoyele serves on the board of several companies and not-for-profit organizations, and is an adjunct faculty member of the Orange Academy and Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos, Nigeria, where he teaches marketing strategy. He is also a council member of the Gerson Lehman Group, GLG, a leading global expert network that provides independent consulting services to business professionals worldwide. Wow, what an intimidating profile. Now, we are going to be taking this interview from the basics. And that is because a lot of people, have this misconceptions or they misunderstand some of the terminologies or terms used in your sector. First, what is advertising?
Okay, so simply put, advertising is how you, a brand or a business, lets people know, the target market know, that the products or services are available and what the product or service can do for the customer, either the potential customer or the prospect. That is simply what advertising is in simple terms. But it has since expanded. Many traps in terms of each advertising. Advertising is about generating desire and ultimately action, which action should be actually purchased. So there's a principle in advertising called the AIDA, awareness, interest, desire, and action. And advertising is meant to deliver that.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, what does marketing mean?
I said that advertising is basically how you get people to know about the product and what it does. That's basically what advertising is. And that it should follow a principle that talks about AIDA, awareness. It should generate awareness, it should generate interest, it should generate desire, and ultimately action, which action should be about purchase. So advertising should be able to deliver that. Now, you asked me the question about marketing, and I'm probably going to say something that might shift paradigms. Advertising is a subset of marketing because in simple terms, marketing is how a business or a brand identifies or anticipates customers' needs or wants, fulfills those needs or wants, and delivers a profit. So that is what marketing is. My simple definition of marketing, building on that, is that marketing is the process of giving value and receiving value in return, which means that the giving value is the product or the service, the benefits that are on offer to a customer. That is the value that it delivers. And the value that the customer returns to the marketer is the money that the customer pays. So marketing is about giving value and getting in return. And that requires you being to understand, to identify the customer needs and wants, and profiling the solutions that that solves the customer's problems at a profit to you. And as many of us would know, classically, there are 4 P's. There are 4 P's in marketing. There's the product, there's the price, there's the place, which is about distribution and availability, and then there's promotion. Now, advertising falls under that key promotion of marketing. So that is marketing, and advertising is a subset of marketing.
Interesting. I know that some other people who play in the other sector may disagree with that, but let's leave that discussion for another time. Maybe when you come face to face with them, you can.
Yeah, it's actually a subset. Yes. But we should. All right.
All right. Now, my third question is: now, what does PR mean?
So the PR is one of the, and I'm sure again paradigm challenging, but PR falls under the promotional part of the marketing mix, because and now it has evolved. Of course, PR classically is basically what people would talk about as unpaid publicity. Now, typically, advertising is paid publicity. PR is supposed to be unpaid publicity, which you get as a result of the relationships that you build, right? Now, there's, in today's world, especially with the advent of digital marketing, you have what you call paid media, and you have earned media. Now, paid media is what you pay for directly, right? Now, earned media is what you get as a result of perhaps your relationships and your network. Now, so basically, as I said, PR was what you might call unearned media, but we do realize today as well that PR is paid media, but it's supposed to be unpaid publicity that you get as a result of your relationships and networks. But it does fall under the marketing mix from my perspective.
Interesting. Now, what is experiential marketing?
Yeah, experiential marketing is how a brand or business is able to engage on a one-on-one basis, direct engagement with the target market in such ways that the target market experiences the brand, right? Now, before digital, it had to be physical contact. So you go to you have an event, a physical event, and then the brand is relating with the target market, and the target market is able to physically experience the brand or the product or the services. Now, with the advent of digital, and particularly with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, experiential has since moved to not just the physical one-to-one interaction between a brand and its target market. You actually have virtual engagements where the brand is relating with the target market, and the target market is able to experience the benefits of the brand. So you, for example, what is called virtual reality, right? Where a brand can engage its customers on a one-to-one basis, where they can experience the brand virtually. You also have augmented reality, where a person can buy a paint brand without necessarily going physically to the shop, but also to look at mixes, because digitally you can look at mixes of paint, right? Because that's augmented reality. So that's a one-on-one. How a brand, experiential is basically how a brand engages with target market on a one-to-one basis.
All right. From my own understanding, I may be wrong, and that is why I'm seeking further clarification from a professional like you. From my own understanding, advertising, PR, experiential marketing, and so on and so forth, they all fall under what is known as marketing communication, right?
And that again is where yeah. So all you said right now in terms of PR advertising, yes, it falls under marketing communications. All right. So you're correct. So definitions have since evolved. So whereas back in the days, the promotional part of marketing would just talk about advertising, PR, and all. But now in today's world, it's being called marketing communications. So that is valid. But what I want to quickly point out is therefore marketing communications is a subset of marketing. See, there's a whole confusion today when you talk about marketing communications, and that it means marketing as a whole. But no, it doesn't mean marketing as a whole, because there are other elements of marketing that marketing communication does not cater for, such as product development, such as pricing, such as distribution and availability, right? That marketing is involved in that. Marketing communications, really as it is really taking care of the classic marketing P, promotional part. So yes, you're right. Advertising, PR are under marketing communications.
All right, interesting. Now, what got you interested in this line of business?
What got me interested?
Yes, in this line of business.
Okay, so it's a long story. It's a long story, right?
And we can abbreviate.
Like you write in my profile. Yeah, you write in my profile. my degrees, my academic background is science, biochemistry, but I basically realized that I have an aptitude and passion for what I called understanding people behavior and also writing. So my initial ambition was to be a copywriter because I had a talent for writing. But I wasn't, quote unquote, fortunate at the beginning of my career, quote unquote, to get a job as a copywriter because the advertising agencies 30 years ago didn't believe that a master's holder in biochemistry could be a copywriter. But I got fortunate. I used to beg them. I used to beg them. I used to write. There was no email or computer, so I used to beg them, write and say, I know that my degrees in science may seem to be a limiting factor, but please just call me for an interview. But none was old enough to call me for an interview. But I was fortunate to get a job as a management trainee at Cadbury. And in the process of the interviews, they said they had identified that they believed that I had the aptitude for marketing. And that's really a summary of how I started marketing, because when I was doing the interviews as a trainee and I was told I was going to be considered for marketing, after the head of HR left us candidates, I asked a fellow candidate, please, what is marketing? Because I had no idea of what marketing was at the time. And then I went into the interview with the sales and marketing director at Cadbury, and he said to me, oh, have you been told you are being considered for marketing? And I said, yes, sir. He said, what do you know about marketing? I said, nothing, sir. And he said, and you don't mind? I said, I would learn. So basically, that's how I got into marketing. It was for teachers. I call it God's grace. I learned, and basically that's what I've done.
Interesting. So what would you say has kept you going? I mean, you've been into this line of business for decades now. What would you say has kept you going?
I think, first of all, it's a passion for it and a mindset of learning. I just made the reference that at the beginning I didn't know anything, and I just said, look, I will learn as much as I can. So I think part of what has helped is I have a learning mindset that, look, I'm going to learn as much as I can on an ongoing basis. I think marketing is exciting because it also involves understanding human behavior, right? I like to study people, and so how can you influence people's behavior positively? So I've kept going by, one, I have a passion for people, understanding people's behavior, influencing people's behavior, issues around creativity, and I also like strategy. All right, so those are some of the reasons how I've kept going. I've also worked on many exciting brands across different sectors, and I think the challenge of the market is how do you beat competition in the marketplace is part of the adrenaline that just keeps one going. And I've had many opportunities that just help me grow.
All right, now talking about all the brands or some of the brands that you've been opportune, to work on, which has been the most exciting and why? I mean, the question that I just brought forward, I have it, it's supposed to come much later, but now that I just talked about working on some exciting brands, let me just capitalize on that and find out from just one, the most exciting brand that you've worked on and why.
It's easy. It's easy. The answer is easy, as most people will know me, right? I worked on the Bonvita brand in Cadbury for many, many years. So it's very easy to say that it was an important, and it was a part of my career, because I started managing Bonvita brand 18 months after starting my marketing career. And that really was incredible. It was a risk that the company took at the time on a young person who had started from scratch in marketing, but I suppose that they had identified certain potential. And so I started managing very early in my career, and Bonvita at the time was what I call a humongous brand. It's still a humongous brand. It was the flagship of Cadbury, and it was involved in in many activities. So what was exciting about Bonvita? You asked me the why. Like I said, it was number one cocoa beverage in Nigeria. It had many SKUs. So you can imagine one brand having about 7 6-packs, 900 gram, 400 gram, and many packs. And each pack having different consumer segments that you need to address. Each pack having its own challenges. Bonvita was an innovative brand. It was the first brand in Nigeria to sponsor the professional league, right? It had first brand to sponsor Teachers Awards. So a lot of innovation on the brand did. So it was truly a busy brand, exciting brand. So that really is why, for me, it's a standout brand without prejudice to other brands that I have worked on and that I still work on.
Working on. All right. We'll still come back to computer, but let me just follow my question sequentially. Now, what is the commonest mistake that anybody in your line of business can make? Anybody in your sector?
I think there are many mistakes one can make, but I think one of the common mistakes that is made is making assumptions about the consumer. I believe that marketing and advertising people don't study or seek to get enough consumer insights. There are a lot of assumptions that people make based on their own paradigms and their own personal realities. So you have to go beyond your own self-beliefs and your own mindset. It's okay to have certain hypotheses, but you should also check the hypothesis or your own thoughts with the marketplace. And I think many businesses, many brands do not do as well as they can because they make certain assumptions. So let me give you an example, a quick example from my Bonvita life. When Bonvita was relaunched from brown and cream packaging to purple packaging in the year 2000. After we launched, and it was a very successful launch, massive turnaround for the brand, brand equity and sales. We had, the foil that seals the product. We also changed the color to purple. Now, when we were launching that, the guys in purchasing came to me and said that, look, we have, at the time, and I'm talking about 20 years ago, about 2 million naira worth of that foil, but it was in brown. And they wanted us to use it. And myself, along with other people in marketing, said, sorry, no way are we going to use it because we cannot afford to use the old packaging on the new packaging after all the work we have done. So we didn't use it. We used the new packaging. A year later, they came back to me and said, Lampe, we still have this 2 million naira worth of foils. And we're not about to write it off, right? And I said, okay, look, feeling more confident 1 year later, right? 1 year later, I said, you know what? Okay, we'll consider. But my marketing director at the time said, let's do a consumer check. Right. Now, my belief, along with other marketing guys, was that the foil, the color of the foil, was very important in building brand equity. So we went into a consumer check. And what we did was we asked about 10 women. So that's the target market of Bonvita. We invited them to the room, gave each of them a new can, the purple can of Bonvita. And the foil, some had brown foil, some had purple foil. And we gave each of them and asked them to mix the drink and asked them to, we just had general conversations about brands and things like that. And after about 30 minutes, we asked them to cover the cans with them and asked them, oh, by the way, what's the color of the foil that each of you had? And none of them, apart from one, after deep thinking, could remember the color, which meant that color of the foil was not a factor. Was not a factor in choice. Exactly. But see us, some of the best marketing guys in the country had held down 2 million naira worth of foil because our belief, our own personal realities where that color mattered as far as foil was concerned. So it's really important for marketing guys to have deep consumer insight.
Interesting. Now, to have a taste of success, in your sector, what must one do?
What do you want? One, and I'm going to speak holistically from a marketing and advertising perspective. I think one, first of all, understand where I'm just coming from, understand the consumer, understand the marketplace, understand competition. So really keep close to the marketplace. Understand consumers, understand the competition, understand the company, your company. So if I was going to talk about C's, I'll talk about 3 or 4 C's. Understand the consumer, the customer, understand the company you work with or work for, understand competition. That's important. Then keep close to trends, particularly in today's world. Keep close to trends. And when I say trends, it's not just local trends, but also global trends. I believe in a concept that is called glocal. Glocal means that you want to understand global trends and global standards, but you also want to know how to apply those global trends and global standards on a local basis. So keep close to trends, global and local. It's really important. Read far and wide as part of getting understanding trends and competition ahead of what's going on, what's changing. Keep close to what's happening in terms of PESTLE, right? You know, the classical PESTLE, the political environment, the technological environment, the economy. Keep close to the economy. Those are things that are important. Social trends important, and above all, be truly strategic in terms of your thinking, right? And be open to varied perspectives. Don't think that you know it all. Be open to varied perspectives. I think that the more you get different perspectives, the better you'll be in this line of business. So those are some thoughts in terms of how you can succeed in this industry.
Interesting.